Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. To my right here, we have White Thighs. I'm Surprise, and this is Come On, Get It Together, guys. And this is Good Time Boys.
Why do you kind of sound like Maldhound socks?
Oh, true.
Get it together, guys.
What are we talking about this week, Veggie?
Yeah, today we're talking about politics in Commander. You know, everybody's favorite aspect of the game. We were really hoping that Airball would be able to be here for this episode because that's his favorite part of the game.
What's up, guys? This is officially a hate piece on rolling dice. Stop doing it. There's something you don't like about somebody at the table. Go get them.
Mm-hmm.
We get it.
Make decisions. But yeah, today it's all about the non-game mechanic elements of playing a multiplayer game of Magic, because that's really the biggest thing that sets it apart from 1v1 games is you can just talk to people and have them do things, and that might work.
Yeah, you brought up Airball. I think that's a very good example of the people who really hate politics. Airball won't play Settlers of Catan because trading resources is too stressful. Like, no joke. Absolutely hate Settlers of Catan for that reason, which is one of my favorite games, so I'm very insulted. But yes, those players do shy away from all aspects of politics in Commander for sure.
Oh my god, he must. I never thought about how much he would hate that game, period, because it's like super high variance and you trade with other players. Yeah, and that's like the tiniest part of that game. So let's start off. We all politic in games. We've seen this many times on the Decked Out Gameplay show, but we all do it in different ways. So do either of you have like a base way that you will start like a politic?
Yeah, it's typically lying. And if I can't lie outright, I will mislead, I will deceive. Sometimes I dupe people. If I can flabbergast you, that is the best. I think that the way I most often begin my politicking is by picking my enemy. Like there is, and I am a big hater of people who roll dice to determine who they should attack first. I think at the beginning of the game, there's often an urge to be like, oh, no real politicking is happening. We're just clowning around. We're just seeing what's up. What's up is murder, Keith. Mm-hmm. What's up is murder most foul. And so whenever I start playing a game, I will try to identify when everybody has 8 mana, like we make it to the later stages of the game. Everyone has 8 mana. Everybody's looked at some cards. Whose deck is best positioned to beat mine in the aggregate? Because this game is 1 part tactics, 1 part slot machine based on whatever comes off the top of your deck, and then 1 part rock, paper, scissors. Some strategies are good at beating other strategies. And so I try to find out who is my foil at the table, start hitting them, so that if they are able to shut me down later, I don't have as much distance to cover to get them out of the game. And there's nothing better than an enemies to lovers arc. And so if you come up with a nemesis, turn 1, deal 5 damage, you can do a real cute, like, we're done hating now, right? Let's get them. Let's get them. They cast their commander, hit hammers.
Many hammers.
Yeah. And I, so like a bunch of that is just kind of threat assessment, but I fully support make decisions confidently in your games, because that leads to a lot of political moments where because if I go, hey, I don't like what you're doing or what you could do, I'm gonna put some pressure on. That's 2 other people that are going, oh, all right, I don't have to worry about either of those players as much, because one of them is focused on the other one and the other one is getting hit. And so that gives you more potential to be like, hey, right, this guy, he's got the stuff I don't like, and like that means we're friends, so we all should hit him.
Yeah, the other thing I want to say too is, like, even if you have a deck that's designed to eliminate players, and the best way that it can win is by eliminating 1 player because the other 2 won't be able to come back. Like, let's say an elf ball deck, right? You really do need to take someone out early. It isn't the kind of deck where you can do a little chip damage across the table and then take everybody out at one time. Like your best strategy to win is to eliminate one person so there's less resources going against you. So that is the instance in which I see the most die rolling, where it's like, I have to kill one of you. I'm going to either succeed in doing that or I'm going to die and it won't matter. So they'll roll a dice to see who that will be. I think I agree with you. There are better ways to do it. Like who is the better player, who has the counter to your deck that's stronger, who's more likely to beat elves in this situation. But all things equal, if you don't know what their like deck power is, or if you don't know who is stronger, if it's a new player, then how do you do it? You are sort of like, even if you're not rolling a dice, you're just kind of like, you look weird. And
you're baldest.
Yeah. I mean, but that's similar, right?
Yeah.
They lost the die roll of life with the baldness.
Well, yes, we did. We did, and we should say it. Sorry.
So then you did effectively roll a dice.
Right, but I think the difference is, I think of politicking most of the time as being threat assessment in a pretty dress. And the energy that you present is very important. And I have often found that the games that are the most enjoyable politically are the ones where I take not as many positions as possible, but you take a couple really, really strong and ridiculous positions about what's important in this game really quickly. Like it sets the tone for other people, both in a way of like, these are which players are going to be scary, and it allows you to dictate the pace of how serious the game is going to be, because everybody else is trying to like treat the politics as like, they don't want to be very committal about like what their deck's going to do. They don't want to be very committal about who they're going to target. They don't want to be committal about who's going to win. But if you do it, and if you do it over stupid shit, you can kind of force the game into being a sillier slap fight. Like you can forcibly make the game slapstick, which has helped me the most in games where I don't know people, to avoid it from becoming like too tactical.
I also want to make one more argument for the dice rollers. And again, I don't do this, but so we want to judge them for not being able to make a decision. But is there a next level system to the dice rolling? Because if each time they have to decide who to hit, they roll a dice, then there's a little less feel bads. Like you don't, the person who's like, oh, that they hit, they don't feel like they were targeted. They feel like next time they might target somebody else. And so maybe in and of itself, doing that is a way to alleviate the crackback in a way of politics, right?
I actually, that's the majority of the time what I see when somebody decides to roll dice for a decision is their main motivator is, I don't want to make an enemy. I want this to be fair. I don't want anybody to feel targeted. But I only have one creature to attack with. It has to go to an individual. And there's you can give some credit there. But to me,
feels like the definition of politics.
To me, it's much more valuable the other way around, because if you make one enemy, you make two friends. And I think that's a better position to be in. Especially if those decisions are smaller, because I think the most common situation I see where somebody rolls dice for a decision is, well, it's turn 2 and I played a 1-drop. I'm just gonna roll some dice to see who I hit. You're getting in for what, 1 or 2 damage? Like, make that decision. The player is most likely not going to go, oh my god, I got hit for 2 and now I need revenge, so I'm going to blow up every single thing that they ever play.
Have you ever played with me before?
Not everybody is afflicted with werewolf hunger, NerdGirl.
Right.
But I'm a back veggie up. I think the dice rollers have a correct premise.
I don't even think, like I said, I'm not a dice roller. That's not how I would do it. I agree with that with Veggie, that there are maybe more optimal ways to make more friends. But I just am defending it as a type of politics.
Well, a bad and wrong type. Yeah. A bad and wrong type. Because the reason I say they have a good premise is the idea, right, in the mind palace going, I don't want to make enemies. If I do this, nobody can blame me. In execution, everybody's going to get you. Like the last time I played with somebody who rolled dice, they stated that as the explicit purpose. And what immediately happened was we all ganged up on them because we all went, "Oh, you're rolling dice every time?" And they were like, "Yes, every single time, because I don't want to make any enemies." And they went,
"You've made 3."
Okay, right. So we all looked at each other and went, "We're all getting hit." And this was like I think this was, I don't think the details matter, but it was something where they got to ping and it was not a random ping, but they made it a random ping.
Gotcha.
And so to the people who are dice rollers and are operating from this place of, I don't want to make any enemies, I would offer you all the argument of, it is impossible to not make an enemy. And the longer you try to avoid making enemies, the more you guarantee making. And I think I do this on Decked Out every game or nearly every game. I will do something where I'm like, not hitting them because that's my boy. Because that's my dog right there. I'd die for them. Take 2, by the way. Take 2. I'm defending my guy right here. You can do,
and then we both lose.
Right, and then we both lose, but it's fun the whole time. And there's so much more. Like, there is a lot of engaging and silly stuff you can do when you boldly declare one enemy because you're like, "Nice red shirt, dude. I'm colorblind. That's offensive." Bang, bang.
And now there's like there's a lot in that. Like, one, you're playing to be funny and you're playing to have a good time.
Yeah, but that is how I play off camera too.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, because like that's an important thing. That should be everybody's number one goal when playing Commander, is to have a good time. But if you are also concerned about like the like winning the game part, it is, to me, just a better way to do it, because making these decisions allows you to direct what the other players are doing, even if you're not saying it. If I go, all right, I have to decide who to attack right now. Oh, it's definitely you. Then the other players are gonna go. They have those thoughts of, okay, great, it's not me, so I don't have to mess with the person attacking. And why do they think it's that person? I should be more worried about that person for some reason. And that just is more valuable than hopefully nobody touches me because I didn't touch them.
It's the game where we kill each other. You can't really, there's like only so many turns you can persist in the idea that we're not going to be enemies. And the trick is really like, how many enemies are you going to have coming after you at one time?
So I think the show should be vaguely formatted with different types of politics, whether you think they are like useful, whether you do them, or whether you think they are actively bad and you do not want them at your table. And it sounds like 2 no's on dice rolling and like it's fine if you do it.
Wrong.
So you're like not picking a side really on the...
No, I am...
So you want a coin to flip to see if...
roll a die to see if you like this politics or not.
I do not die roll, but I am fine with die roll. I think it is a way too politic. Thumbs up.
NerdGirl is just saying that because she knows she can extract EV out of you people if she ever plays against you. I can exploit this to my benefit.
Oh, you roll dice. We're friends.
66% of the time I won't be hit when I should be.
Yeah, maybe as the person who probably should be hit a lot, it's pretty good for me if they're rolling dice, right? No, yeah, I think that's just my assessment. I think I have laid out my points. Anybody have a next?
I think one that I've been coming around on a lot more is the duration of deals, because this is what Z and I have the most arguments about, and what blows up all of our table politicking is we typically want to slap each other from the word go because we know each other's deck lists in and out, and we know how bad and crazy it can get. And whenever we make a deal with each other, there's always the like, okay, well, how long do I get safety from, whether it's a permanent, whether it's from swinging, whether it's removal? They always go like, how long do we get this for? And the deals always blow up when one of us is like, I want 3 turns. Then the other's like, fuck you, die. Bang, 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 bang. And the more we've been doing it, the more I've been settling on like, it is pretty unreasonable to ask for more than a turn once you are outside like the first 3 turns of a commander game, because everything can explode so quickly.
And what's happening in those first few turns where you need to make a multi-turn deal? Like,
Yeah, I think I think I agree as far as like turns go for more generic things like removal or I won't swing at you, period. I think those should be pretty limited. Now, if the thing is like, I'm going to kill your Kozilek, unless it never hits me, like I think that is also okay, because the idea is that Kozilek should hypothetically not be there. So if I don't get hit with it, then I'm fine with it being there.
Yeah, I think you can do either like 1 turn or all game. This never happens to me. But I think once you start...
or until it's heads up.
Yeah.
Like that's also another reasonable one, I think, where
For those of you non-grinders, that means when it's just 2 people left and Nerdgirl's going to kill you with a Bowie knife.
I'm sorry. My poker speak comes out sometimes. You guys are new to the Nerd Girl thing. I was a poker player for 6 years before Magic, so that's why maybe that comes out sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the problem that we run into, is that we're like, oh, hey, funny man, play some cardboard. I'm like, oh, haha, funny man, play some cardboard. And then other person that we regularly play with is like, I played poker for 6 years, and then the only reason I got out of it is because I was better at Magic.
I like how I sound like hulked out.
By the way, it's fine if you roll dice to figure out who's.
It's like the island players, the buff guy playing Toph, where it's like, thanks, Veggie.
Honestly, that all checks out.
Okay, so let me.
I just got crushed in that commander game. Oh, that dude must have been huge.
It sounds like we are all in agreement that it's either 1 turn until heads up or for the whole game. Like those are kind of your 3 options for smooth duration deal making.
I'm not actually.
No.
To me, it is one of 2 things only. It is a turn or like some short duration. Turn is pretty good standard, or vibes, and that's it. There. I don't think there should ever be X for the game. I would say every single one of those deals has never gone well for the person being like, okay, I won't do that thing to you for the whole game. I would go so far as to say if you look at least the show, anytime anybody has made one of those deals, they lost.
I can think of one really bad one where you had an answer to a thing and you said you would not do anything until it was heads up, and then that person put you to lethal and it was not heads up and you did not defend yourself. But other than that, I can't think of a whole lot of because we just don't make those kinds of deals typically.
Yeah, we made them more often like early in the life of the show, and then we both learned that they are not good and that they're kind of funky for content.
I feel like I've made a few until we're heads up deals and it's been fine.
Yeah, but what end of the deal were you on and did you win?
The thing that ended it was we were heads up, and I think I probably won a good chunk of them, like half.
Yeah, but I mean, what end of the deal? Were you the one saying, hey, I won't kill your thing and if you don't hit me until I'm there, or was somebody making that deal to you?
I would say it's probably 50-50.
I'm going to go a little bit towards Veggie's side. I do think that until the end of the game, totally bad. Stop doing that. I do like the vibes ones because I'm thinking through my mental Rolodex, and most of the time somebody has made a until the end-esque deal. It has led to more sour grapes than not. Whether or not that resulted in them winning, the other person winning, it went from being a good and joyous bit to a bit where they were like, oh man, I really can't take this relevant game action because I promised 4 turns ago I wouldn't do this thing. But I do like the idea of the deal is either for 1 turn or until it's nasty.
Yeah.
Once it gets nasty, because I'm thinking of in one of the first ever custom card reviews I did, somebody sent in one of the first custom cards the internet ever made, which was the counter spell that was like, this is a free counter spell, but it only counters the spell if the majority of the table agrees that the spell is totally bullshit. And so I think that like the deals over on vibes allows you to do that same type of thing where you do have to look to the table and be like, it's nasty, right? It's nasty.
Yeah.
Josh, it's nasty.
And you can't obviously do that with like, hey, I've never met these people before, I'm sitting down at the table, but those deals have always, felt pretty fair to me. If it was like, oh, I at least generally know these people. Hey, I'll let you do your thing, but like I need some sort of favor later. Like that to me is a vibes thing or
Yeah, favors are definitely vibes. Or my favorite is we'll be friends.
Yeah. Yes.
Extra point for those of you who want like procedural rules to establish by. If you don't know the table well enough to make a vibes deal, don't try to make any long-term deals.
Yeah.
Because like the downside risk of a long-term deal with somebody who you do not know how they're going to react emotionally, you do not know how focused they are on winning, it's never going to be worth it. I think that is a like genuine set in stone takeaway. If you don't know people well enough to offer a like, we're doing this until it's freaky, one turn or nothing.
So I am okay with 3. I think I always do that until we heads up. Like that's my go-to one turn or heads up. Like I almost never do full game stuff, either being offered or offer. But one of the ones that comes up quite frequently is I'm going to kill your commander because I don't want you to ult it. I will never ult it. I feel like that is a forever thing that I am okay with. How does that sound to you guys? Because that's the kind of thing in my head that would be for a full game. It's like, I just want to draw cards with this commander. I need those cards. I promise I will not ult it for the whole game.
Tevish Zottler.
Because that did happen in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is one person in my life I allow to do that business, and everybody else I'm like, no, fuck you. Play the game piece you have. And this also extends to a lot of the advice I give about deck building, which is that I have a huge disdain for when you have a tool in front of you that is useful and you go, well, I'm not going to do that because it will be mean.
But the other option is not having it at all. So the politic part is I would rather have draw cards than have you just hit it and it be gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, it almost ties into like the suspension of disbelief you have in like movies and stuff. Like it gets to that same type of onerous point that we brought up with like until the end of the game. If you go, I'm never, ever, ever going to do this. And then like, all right, if the person who could have removed it died, and are we still doing like in loving memory, I will not win the game with my Planeswalker ult, which I think those deals would be better done based on vibes. Like, I'm not going to ult my Planeswalker until it's go time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that come up where there was a deal made and the player that it was made with died and the other person still had whatever the effect was that would be relevant. Because normally it's like, Kozilek can't attack me. I'm dead. Obviously, that doesn't matter. Yeah. The ulting Planeswalker, I think, would, but I've just never seen it come up because the Planeswalker does eventually die or that player dies or whatever. Or even if I was dead and they did ult it, I wouldn't even notice, I think.
Yeah, because it gets weird, especially depending on what kind of thing it is. It's like, okay, is that a deal between just those players? Like, and me as a third player, do I have to be concerned about that Planeswalker like doing its thing to me if they decide that the deal is different? Or like I think
you don't have to worry until I'm dead or until whoever they made the deal with is dead.
But that's what you think. Like,
yeah, but that's why I'm here. It's for my opinion.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you. Let's say we are 3 in a game, and you offer that deal to Mald.
Yeah,
I'm saying that regardless of you or anybody else, I'm not a part of that deal. But
Agreed.
I have to figure out what that could be like. I have to decide. Okay, does that mean that
I understand what you're saying?
Yeah,
and I'm saying in your shoes, that would be my assumption. Is that I would say, cool, I don't have to worry about that thing ulting. And if NerdGirl goes down, then maybe I do have to worry about that.
Yeah. But I guess my general statement is I don't like that you have to make an assumption about another thing
well, you can
in
ask.
that situation.
Oh, God. Talk to people? What are we talking about? Oh, just roll a dice or something. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, those kinds of assumptions happen in politics from the other players at the table all of the time. and they have to decide whether or not something is okay for them or whether they can deal with it. So if I make a deal with Veggie and I say, hey, Veggie, if I let you live, will you help me with Joe? And the person next to me is like, cool, Veggie has agreed to help with Joe. I'm not going to blow up his thing before he untaps. And then you untap and kill the whole table, having did what you said you would do. You would help kill Joe. But now that person has made an assumption that you would do a thing. Like, is that not the same thing?
It is the same thing. Did you like that?
But you're saying that anytime someone else that is not within the deal has to make an assumption is a bad thing. But that's the nature of all deals.
I'm not saying that as a broad statement of, hey, any deal assumption is bad. I'm saying in that situation of what seems like it should be a very clear, like, I will never do this thing because I've made an agreement with you, single player, that I have to kind of guess, okay, but how committed is that? And in the same instance of what you're saying, even though you can see me doing this move specifically on an episode of Decked Out, I don't think that makes for actual good gameplay. I just think it makes for good content. I would not want to be in a position like that to have to assume and then be wrong on that sort of thing.
I think that even though this is like a specific edge case, I think we're still just what's up? I think we're still just circling the exact same territory of why never ever deals tend to feel bad, because there is this unspoken, well, at some point we're gonna get nasty, right? Like we're not just gonna leave. It's Chekhov's gun. At some point it's going to go off, and even if you say never, there is some inciting event that would allow it to go off. And with people you don't know, don't promise never. Even with people you do know, vibes is going to feel better than never. But if you don't know them, going never ever is more likely to lead to, like, even if it's tactically relevant, which it may well be, I think it's more likely to lead to a feels bad than a feels good.
I feel like vibes is the thing that is more likely to leave someone with a feels bad, because your assessment of whatever the vibe is not their assessment of the vibe. And so,
well, that goes back to vibes. You have to know the people, right? You can't just go, I'm going to offer a vibes deal to people who I don't know the vibe well enough. You need to offer vibes deals to people you think you can accurately assess. And if you're wrong, that's good personal growth.
But if the argument is they shouldn't be making X type of deal and they should instead go off vibe deals, but only with your bestest friends you play with every week, I feel like that's not particularly useful advice.
Well, I think that's an exaggeration of the familiarity you need to have to make a vibes deal. Like, I will make a vibes deal with somebody I have played 2 Commander games with.
So on game 3.
On game 3, I will. And if I am wrong, and another point about, I should have said this in how I politic. When I go to politic, I operate on the assumption that I am 100% right. I am unshakably correct about everything I believe. And
just like your content.
Yep. And after the game, I will review those assumptions. Like, there is no time for dithering or quibbling while you are trying to politic within the game. I think you have a better time politicking if you're like, no, I'm Jonathan Right guy. I understand it. But then you do have to go back through and lead through the game and be like, where did this blow up in my face? Where did this make somebody unhappy where it could have made them have a better time? And then I try to update those assumptions that I'm making about every person and about how I think the dynamics are going to play out. So I'll say, 3rd game, you can start making vibes deals with people, and you need to check after the fact if you were right or not. And if you were wrong, you need to change the types of deals you're making.
Yeah. I do think, though, it's very fair to say, like, hey, these are like kind of the same thing, right? It's vibes. I'm making a deal on vibes, or I'm not liking that I have to feel out this deal. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that's very fair. Those are super similar, and so I think what I can at least say for myself is, I will make vibes deals, and I found that they work out well in ways where I am happy coming away from that game, and I have changed my style to not make deals like that on, hey, if you don't do this thing, I won't use a piece of this. I've stopped accepting those deals, and I have ended up happier with that. And I think the people that I'm playing with have ended up happier, but that's only a thing that I can guess at. I think you can come away with them differently, but for me, I've definitely liked not taking those deals, period, more than when I used to.
I mean, that's fair. I think I lean towards more specific things, regardless of whether or not it's like, I will not ult this commander. So that way there is no fuzziness. I don't want someone to alter the deal to my understanding. Then it's like, oh, you had weird vibes, Veggie. Okay, I guess in this next game, I'm hesitant to make a deal with you because I don't know when your vibes are going to turn against me.
Yes, I think that's a really good segue into, I think, a big discussion point on politics is the genie wish.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of deals you can see me making them on episodes of Decked Out. I will definitely, depending on the group, incorporate these fairly often into my politicking on, I'm making a deal for you in a position usually where I'm the weaker one of the two making the deal. Like, oh, you're trying to kill me right now and I can't stop it, but I will X, Y, and Z if you don't kill me right now, while trying to leave outs to myself, for myself in the deal that, where it's like, hey, here's some fine print and here's my loophole.
But the loophole is like, you're not just leaving yourselves potentially outs to then survive or make it back. If you're like, hey, if you don't kill me right now, I will, in this case, help you kill Joe, but then literally untap, kill the board. I feel like a genie wish is like, you didn't get exactly what you wanted and it kind of backfired on you. But to me, that's just lying. Like, I don't know. Am I completely off base here with that?
I don't think you're off base in the feeling. I think a lot of people have had the feeling of like, because I remember there was one game I played where a guy and his girlfriend were playing, and the girlfriend politicked with him and was like, you have lethal on me, please don't hit me. And he was like, you got it, I won't hit you. And then he just did a like direct damage ping for her life total, and she was like, and in a court of law, he didn't, and I think the wording was as specific as like, please don't swing your commander at me, because the commander was unblockable. And he didn't do that. And she was still mad as shit, man. And I got it. And I understood. I felt that. And so I've actually been, especially when I think there's room for face speak, been moving away from explicit language in my deals, and it's been more fun. Even though I feel like I have less, it feels like the more rigid I set my expectations of what the deal means, the more I am disappointed over and over and over and over again. Like the last deal I made, I was in a commander game with a person I'd never met before, and two people who were having a much better time than the two of us were. And you were in this game, and me and this other guy, I think either they or I made an offhand joke about how we were like the street level thugs watching Marvel characters fight it out, and we started talking in goon voices, and we started talking about how it was me and him until the end, and we were gonna see this through together, and we were loosely making deals to try to like do something about Veggie and Z, who are the two people way in the front. And they were playing a deck that could have combo one out at any point. They did not do that, but it felt better to have the deal be like, me and you, right? We're going to get them, knowing that it could blow up on me versus trying to like, I feel like once you have to break out a pen and paper to keep track of all of the different things you can and can't do, the deal has defeated itself in terms of making the game more enjoyable. And so I do think that you have a point in being annoyed when people go like, all right, team up time. And then they detonate a brick of C4 that was under the table. But I don't think that making the deals more specific is the way to correct it unless you are in a position where winning the game is super important. I think in a position where the game being enjoyable is super important, I have had more success trying to use that as a comedic vehicle than I have trying to nail down like, okay, well, when you say team up, you mean that we're both making it through your next turn cycle and anything you do is going to get them and not me.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like you have to get that specific when people are known for, in my opinion, lying, right? Well, like if I say, if I don't kill you and you're going to help me kill Joe, and they say, yes, I'm going to help you kill Joe. In the games that I typically have the most fun, that's not a problem. And so when I'm constantly having to worry about those people, I just don't make deals with them. Yeah, but they constantly try to come in and try to make deals. Veggie will do this. And I'm put in a position where it's like, I don't want to make a deal because I know you cannot be trusted unless I break out the pen and paper. So the answer is just no.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell those people, no, I'm going to hit you with a hammer. No, I'm going to hit you with a hammer because I think you're tricksy.
And I personally do not have as much fun in those games.
Yeah. And so that's definitely a big thing I've learned is like my intent always in those situations is to be like, hey, you can just remove me from this game right now. And I am trying to trick you. I am trying to trick you. I am trying to trick you. However, I'm going to make it so enticing that it's more of like a little game for me. Can I make this so enticing for you that you, even though you should recognize that I am trying to trick you, are like, but there's no way that there could be something in that, right?
But it's not always as obvious as you think it is.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish though. So the people that I got used to making those deals with knew that was the thing. And to me, I was making it very obvious to those people. But coming in and playing with different people, you can see a lot of these deals earlier in the life of Decked Out. And I learned quickly that you don't enjoy how those turn out no matter what. And I am not good at communicating that I'm trying to trick you. I'm trying to trick you.
I'm very dense.
I want this to be very you're just honest. You're just honest. Because we should talk about this later on. But your deals are drastically different from mine, and so you are hearing my deal in the way that you would do it, and you're like, oh, okay, this seems pretty cut and dry to me. Great, I will take that deal. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, good. I've made it very clear where the loopholes are here. And I've made this enticing enough that she's still willing to take that risk. And so we've just always been on different pages. So aside from this one instance in probably the past like 50 episodes, which still was so impactful that you are thinking about it now and did not like that experience, I'm thinking
about it now because we're literally talking about politics and the type of politics we don't like.
Right, but you remember that specific instant, right? We've played 100 and however many games, but that sticks out in your mind. Like you can recall that immediately because that's the topic.
Yeah, I mean that I think was because it's probably the most egregious example of that, and I think you're right. You don't do that a ton on the show, and the show is also we are extra not sneaky, even where I might consider myself to try to be sneaky in a normal game. I wouldn't do on the show.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of sneak, so it's nothing crazy. But we are extra cautious about that stuff usually. So I think that's the only reason I could remember it. I mean, there's a handful of other times where I sort of got veggie genie wished. And then the counterpoint to that is that, again, I'm less likely or less inclined to make deals with you because I know, well, I could just kill him and not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But then it gets used against me because then at the table, you'll say things like, well, I know NerdGirl won't make deals with me, or, she'll just kill me anyway. And then I feel bad. Like I am
let me make this very clear to everybody out there. This is the correct decision always. Kill that player. Kill me. If I'm trying to make that on death's door deal with you, it's because I have literally no other option and still think I can win that game. So kill me. Nerdgirl is making the best possible decision in that instance.
I think there are lots of times where we have made that deal where you are at death's door and you just want to hang around for another turn or two to see if you can pull it out. I'm fine with that. And there has been times where I've let you live and you've come back and been the winner because like hey, will you help me kill Joe? And you do help me kill Joe. But by the time we do that, then you've stabilized or Joe threw a bunch at me and I'm much weaker.
Yeah.
Those are fine. I mean, and in fairness, they're all fine. Don't think I am actively mad or not playing with Veggie at these tables. I'm just killing him instead. That's all.
I'm mad at Veggie. I am always mad at Veggie. In every move I make, every mana I tap is for this man's downfall.
Yeah. And he'll also take my deals.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, I've swung the door so far back the other way, just trying to get them back because I was like, oh no, I've done this to my own detriment because now even if I want a straightforward fair deal, you're like, there's some bullshit here. And I'm like, no. I think this is the best move for us.
I think there's been times where you've like, here, would you like a small bag of $100 bills? And I'm like, nah, fucking die.
I would like to talk about a related, maybe the other side of this coin, which is the politics around conceding, which I think are much more relevant in pods where you do know the people than in pods where you don't know the people. And I'm not talking about spite concessions, which is the whole like, oh, can I concede at instant speed to deny you combat damage triggers? You can. You're a loser.
Can I interrupt you for a quick sec? That'll be the next topic. Genie wishes, yay or nay. Do you use them, yay or nay? I gotta keep us on like some sort of structure for my.
Get it together, guys.
Yeah, there's gonna be something that you can put on the spreadsheet after this.
Yes.
Like who answered what to what thing, and then
it helped earlier. You like my spreadsheets, you know it. Do you do them?
Also, I want that on a T-shirt. Like you like my spreadsheets, you know it.
Yes.
You do genie wishes, so then you're for genie wishes.
I do them and I take them, and I am more for them knowing they can blow me up now.
Veggie obviously likes them.
Yes, I'm for them and will accept them, but now have a more updated perspective on being careful with them, not to make them unfun for other people.
I'm against them. Now, in fairness, too, like a genie wish is like, if I know the parameters, if it's not as vague as, yes, I will help you kill Joe, you'll die in the process, but like, I'm not going to tell you that part. If it's like, hey, if I find a mana, though, then I might just be able to blow up the board. Like, if that was the case, if you didn't have the lethal, and I can't beat Joe 1v1, like, that's why I'm offering you this deal.
Right.
And if there's like if I have some agency in that choice, like if I'm like, okay, the odds of drawing a land is X, I'm willing to take that because I can't beat Joe. So like that's a better deal. Then I think that is, as long as I am aware of the genie's trickery, I think then it's fine. But in general, I'm going to say no and no.
Let's talk about giving up.
Yes.
Rolling over. Inserting yourself into the dirt from which we came. This has not come up for me very often, but I think there are times where instead of trying to plead for my life, I'll just scoop it up because I think it's genuinely better for the game. Because some of the situations I like the least is if you're playing a deck that can't win out of nowhere and you are being kept around because nobody at the table wants to do the mean thing of taking one player out when they're far behind. And so I've only done this, I think, twice so far. So really not a big sample size. Both times I've done it, it's been a cooler game. And so I do think that like and I think that's more relevant for lower power Magic because most higher power decks, one more turn, something could come together. You could get the perfect thing off the top. But in games where I've been like, all of my agency is me making those please don't kill me deals with each other person in the turn rotation for multiple turns. I'm just going to scoop it up, see what happens.
So this is a different place than I thought you were going to. You're talking about scooping up in a game where you're not relevant and thus creating a more interesting dynamic amongst the three players. And I think that is fine. Where I thought you were going was spite conceding. So
yeah, I was going into a bit about like, I think spike conceding sucks and is lame. Don't do it, period.
So if someone has like the Sanguine Bond combo or whatever and is going to hit you with a life linker and you're like, cool, you have tapped out, and instead of killing the whole table, I'm going to scoop, no damage is dealt, and the other two players can eat you. I think that's crummy. I don't like those kinds of games personally. Right. I think it's up to the other two players to save you, and I think that's what makes for a more fun game. And if they can't, then they deserve to lose.
I'm a big fan of the if you are trying to concede to deny somebody something, that can be done at sorcery speed, and I won't freak out. But I think I'm not going to freak out, period. But I think if you are conceding at instant speed to deny somebody some value thing.
Yeah, if you're not having fun in a game, if you're not being relevant in the game, if you have to pee or whatever, I think conceding out of a game is fine. I'm for it. But I would never do it, nor would I appreciate people who did it out of spite.
Yeah. Concede for any outside game reason. But to me, I will never concede for any in-game reason, period. And I think the only acceptable time to do it is if there is money on the line, and that is the thing that, like, you're in a tournament for something. And usually then that's like a last resort. You're just like, you're not winning that game anyway.
And so you're just like, if there's money on the line and you're considering conceding, then you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it to king make against the person you don't want to win. At that point, you're actually using it as a political tool to be like, hey, I'll threaten to concede.
Right.
So you just don't hit me.
Right. And that I think is like the spikiest, like spiky move. And so the only time I think that is acceptable is if everybody that is playing is like, great, we know that there's no holds barred. We know that whatever you can do to win this is on the table. But any lower than that, I'm like, no concessions, period, for like game leverage reasons.
I think I'm just killing that person and losing because they're being a butt for $20 or whatever. I don't care. Oh, good. Then we'll both go down.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe this is too much of a tangent, but like, what's the number where that changes? Because like $20, yeah, you're an asshole. But if it's like, $20K.
I mean, personally, I don't think it should be in the rules. I feel like you scoop concede and it's relevant at instant speed in combat, then like the ghost of your life total is, takes place. You get auto drafted. That would be my idea, but obviously that's not feasible. But you know what I mean. It feels like not a part of the game, and I feel like that should not be in game accepted nor socially accepted.
I agree. That's why I'm like, it's only at a position where everyone is like, every advantage I can get, from every tiny bit of thing that is legal. Yeah, I will use. Anything less than that, I don't think you should concede at all.
I don't know. I disagree, because specifically with the like for leverage in games, because the times I've done it have been because it felt like the only relevant action I had was to put my thumb on the scale of somebody else. Like the only thing I had left to do was king make for one of the three people remaining in the game, and there did not seem to be a funny way to do it. And so it felt more like this is a recusal than or like I can't participate in a way that's going to be interesting. I can only participate in a way that's like, here, sire, take 5 additional soldiers with which you can crush the forces of Jerry-Ann and McCathrix.
I've definitely done things to kick back on the way out in king make. Like, I've never conceded, but I'm like, I'm going to block in a way that will help the rest of the players as an oomph for this is what you get for taking me out. Yeah. And I think that's a very normal thing.
Yes, that's correct to do. You need to have it's important to develop a reputation of there's a cost associated with removing me from the game. You
Exactly.
cannot just go like, oh yeah, just knock me over, whatever.
Yeah, like people who are like, oh, you have lethal no matter what. No blocks. I guess I die. Scoop them up. I think that's, as one of the other 2 players at the table, I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Help me out.
that's not sporting for anyone. Like, and as the person attacking and killing them, I 100% expect to have whatever the worst scenario is for me at that point.
Yeah.
And then I'm weighing that in on my options. I already have calculated whether I die on the crackback or whatever the case may be. So conceding at instant speed because you're bored? Yes.
If you're doing it out of boredom, I still think that's sorcery speed because people may have designs on your life total for the remainder of that turn rotation.
And I think when you're doing it because your tummy hurts or whatever the case may be, it's less time sensitive. So sorcery speed still fine, but yes, across the board.
Well, I think Veggie sounded like no. I am a yes. I think it's sparingly because it's very, very narrow where you truly have like nothing else to do that game but like poison pill somebody. So yes.
I'm a no. I can even think of a game that I played semi recently where I was the person that I got stuck on 2 lands for forever, and I don't remember why we didn't change that, but it was okay to not have like after turn 10 me go like, can I get a land? It like that was fine. I had a great time in that game. I just went in my head, I was like, what do I think is the way that I get back into the game? Great, that's what I'm going to aim for, and I'm going to make this weird for everybody else. So
but you were having a good time.
Right.
So why like you can stay in a game that you can't win and have a good time and make it interesting for everybody else and not concede. I think that's fine. But what if you were not having a good time? What if your tummy hurt? What if you needed to call?
Those are outside of the game factors.
Yeah,
Any factors like that are fine.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So sorcery speed for
Instant speed. It's you mana source speed. I don't if it is an out of game reason, leave poof.
Okay. And then for denial in combat, nay?
Never.
Outside of the tournament thing you're talking
Right.
about, yes, never, you suck. It's dumb.
Okay.
How about this one? Undoing game actions as a result of politics. Somebody goes, I cast a board wipe. And somebody else goes, don't. I will make a deal with you. They make a deal. That person rewinds, takes that spell back.
I think that is a per play group situation.
And like just to add to that, like this would also encompass like, okay, I've decided all of my attacks. One person goes, wait, I have a deal for you. Okay, I reassign attacks.
I think I am fine with it. Just like without further discussion, I feel like that's a thing that happens pretty regularly because I feel like it slows the game down a lot if you announce every play that you're going to do and go, anybody got wood for my sheep? And then and then you have to like let everybody say no, and then you do the thing. So I feel like that bogs the game down almost more so where I'm almost more okay with like no actions have happened yet. I've effectively stated what I'm going to do. You would like me to pause? I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like there are negatives to playing it that way. And there are ways you could do it with more propriety where like realistically, pretty much every spell you should cast that is interactive, when people say I'm casting this, they're saying I'm showing you all this is a free action and declaring my intent to cast it on all of your stupid fucking heads. But I'm sympathetic to NerdGirl's position of the amount of slowdown you would take to do it bureaucratically correctly is not worth the few edge cases that you clean up of like people getting into bickering about whether or not it was actually on the stack to be countered, whether or not it was on the stack to be interacted with in this, that, or the other type of way. I think
Well, the person who's cast it, I think if I say I cast this board clear and Veggie's like, well, what if you didn't? And I will make a deal with you. And then you go, no, I'm just going to counter it. I think it is both. I think I can take it back, but if you choose to counter it, it's countered. But if you don't have a counter, and then I have priority to take back with the potential deal. Mm-hmm. If it, I mean, that's not a thing I would expect of like a random MagicCon play group or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if the amount of times I'm casting a spell and someone wants a deal is so minimal, there's not that many deals I feel like that are happening at the average commander table.
Your commander tables.
By proposing a deal for every card that could warrant one would take forever.
Mm-hmm. I think it has maybe more to do with like, I think this might be a thing you can control more internally by taking account of, is this a thing I'm definitely going to do, or is it a thing I'm doing because I have to have a problem solved? And the more I have relied on, I'm going to show you all this spell as a free action and say this is the thing I want to happen with it, the better the results have been versus me just going like, well, I guess I got to cast this thing. Here's my mana, do that thing. And so I think if you're in a position where you're like, I need this to happen to secure my game state or whatever, yeah, just cast it. Otherwise, get a little freakier with like, oh, here's a person I think I could ally with. Hey, look at this card.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that both things are valid and I think have a good spot. I think doing what you're saying is more fitting in most cases.
Mm-hmm. All right, nice. That worked out way better than I thought. I was just like, I'm going to throw this out here while I think of something better. And then you all had like an actual interesting discussion. I was just like, oh, this to me is pretty cut and dry. But yeah, great.
Okay, so let's clean it up with like takebacks in general, because I do think for takebacks in general, I have a limit. And that limit is typically like, it's probably a 2-strike rule on the exact same category of thing. Like if you are, I guess the strictest one would be like ward costs. Like if my creature has ward and you go to kill it and I'm like, ward, they're like, oh, pick the spell back up.
Yeah.
You didn't do that, trash. If you are attempting to remove my warded creature for the 4th time that commander game and you do not have the mana, I'm like, put that in the trash. You tried to cast the fucking spell. So like, I think there is a limit for repeat offenses that are the exact same offense every other time. Mm-hmm. I think those limits are much higher if I know the person is newer to Magic. Like if you have played single digit commander games, you can start every turn going like, I summon the winged eagle of Ra to destroy your guy. And I'm like, well, you don't, but do whatever you were going to do.
I agree. I want to add one thing. My number is much higher if I know you're bad at Magic, and my number is much lower if I know you're a dick.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. That's all I wanted to add.
Yep.
You get nothing?
Mm-hmm. So speaking about bad at Magic, here's a real one. How do you redirect the table's threat assessment? Because this is politics. Whether you're being honest or deceptive, commander players are notoriously bad at threat assessment, and you will often find yourself in a position where people are going after what you think is the wrong thing, and it may cause you to lose the game because of their actions. How do you redirect that?
Number one trick for your boy, as somebody who speaks in exaggeratory and inflammatory statements all of the time, it is moving from a framing that you think is funny to an A plus B plus C. This is the like numerical outcome of the cards they have. I think all of the confusion I have seen, or like unresolved conflicts I have seen about threat assessment, has typically come about when people are going like, they have that's really good, and somebody goes, but what about that? That's really good. And as long as you're talking about it in the context of that's really good, people are going to continue putting a bunch of their own like flavor in it in their head, versus when I started trying to go like, hey, this is a problem because if they get this effect, they will represent this much damage on their turn. That kills all of us. Are we like,
Yeah, I think for me, if I am indeed not the threat, that I feel I am not the threat, then I just try to be very honest. Actually, I think this came out in a game last night where you wanted to kill my creature. I had the 130-30, and my target was Mald, and Mald had like ultiple planeswalker and a flying 30-30, and you were like, I'm going to kill Nerd Girl's thing. And I was like, whoa. If you kill the vampire, then the ultiple planeswalker has to kill my thing. And then we get rid of both the Sanger vampire and the Liliana and my thing. And I think that worked. I mean, so yeah, just being like very honest and laying out your thought process as to why there is a better answer is very good. The other thing is I try to be very honest. There's been a lot of games, like honest about my own threat assessment, where there are a lot of players, like no matter how popped off they are, they will be like, oh, no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. There's been times where, like, I remember one of our decked out games, Joe was like, hey, if you don't hit me with this creature, I won't kill you. And I did not make the deal because I had lethal in hand to blow up the whole board. And so, like, I'm not going, I could have easily said, sure, I will not hit you with this. It was just like a 3-3. It wasn't even like a problem. I don't even know why Joe gave me that deal to begin with. Because it was like not a threat. But I had like Liliana and table with like a bunch of things to like proliferator. And I was just going to be able to alt. So I find that personally trying to be as honest, even though sometimes I maybe don't even have the best threat assessment, makes people trust me.
Yeah, I also think that's funny because we can point out, thanks to somebody's spreadsheets, that you are both the person that gets accused in the comments most of having bad threat assessment and the player with the highest win rate on the show.
I don't have a spreadsheet for those comments though.
I don't believe that.
Words are really hard, gang. Shablagoo. The thing that's helped me the most, and the thing that I have done wrong in my own politicking the most, is never shortcut an opponent's good board state into they're going to win. Or understand that when you take that shortcut, you are undercutting your own politicking and you're undercutting your ability to redirect the table's threat assessment. Because to anybody that does have the answer you are seeking to solve the problem, no, they're not going to win. No, they're not. They're going to do some like big scary thing and then something else is going to happen. And whenever I have been able to catch myself, it has been better. And anytime I have not caught myself and I review the game after the fact in my head, I'm like, that was dumb. And something probably could have been figured out if instead of going like, oh my God, they have this big scary, like, if I think classical, like they have doubling season and this counter generator, they're going to win. Like that doesn't convince anybody of anything other than you are a little bit bad at math and you really don't like +1/+1 counters. But if you lay it out and lay out, hey guys, let's have a moment. Let's have a meeting. I think Josh is going to fucking murder us. He's drawn 30 cards off this Ristic study, which he assured us doesn't need to be a game changer. And he represents 30 damage with his Chasm Skulker. And I think he might have Chandra's Ignition in hand. How do we feel about that? That is a conversation you can actually have a back and forth about without people needing to make assumptions about how good your threat assessment is. And you can just talk about, are these numbers real or not real? And what can be done to make those numbers less real.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So what? Be honest about your threat assessment. Well, how do you do it?
Well, I have two things specifically.
I lie all the time.
Because like
Fib.
a lot of what we've discussed so far for this has been, hey, players are dumb, point out the things that are on the table. Right? Be smarter than them and then give them some of your smart. As has been like the basis of this so far. If that's not the situation, then I will either reveal information or poke. Revealing information is just like, hey, Veggie, we think you're the threat because you've got a Purphoros and an Impact Tremors on the board, and all you'd need would be 2 creatures, and that kills the table. And I'm like, cool, here's my hand.
Yeah.
I cannot do that thing. This now changes, this changes the information that you have and hopefully changes your your threat assessment.
I'm pro that, and I think that also falls in my be honest with why you think X thing, why you are not the threat. I think that definitely qualifies.
And then poke is if somebody else, you believe somebody else is the threat, but there is not an on-table, it's not for an on-table reason. You're like, I think they're ready to combo off. They have been tutoring a little bit, but I can't say definitively. Then you can poke in that situation and go, okay, yeah, I have the best board right now, but if Mald has his if he has intruder alarm in hand, then he untaps, plays his piece, and combos off. And oftentimes you can at least get some information to be for them. The table will be like, okay, but he hasn't played anything, he hasn't drawn any cards. It's do you have that? And then that puts that sets up a different situation where that player has to reveal information or keep information hidden.
You're still getting something.
And you're still getting something. So you're moving attention off of yourself. This is especially helpful when you are in fact the threat, because even if you don't believe that they have it, even if they don't have it.
See, I will not do that. If I am the threat, I'm like, yeah, I'm the threat, kill me. What you're describing is a game of Among Us.
Yes.
Which is not a thing I do at the commander table.
Whoa, hold on. No. You're describing a game of Among Us in which you have an encyclopedia of all the good Magic cards in the world. I think that is very good advice. And
but you're trying to convince everybody you are not the imposter when you in fact are.
Yes.
Which is not a thing I do at the commander table.
Well, I think it's slightly different because in the situation Veggie's talking about, Veggie is laying the commander table is 4 imposters, and we're trying to figure out who gets stabbed last.
I'm never an imposter. I'm just doing my tasks. I hope I finish them and win the game.
It's all knives. Your task is inserting knives into the appropriately labeled slots in my back.
No,
is your ideal game of Among Us one where there's no imposters and it's everybody just working together to complete tasks?
And the person who completes them first wins. Yes. And then if you have to swap people's hands away so they can't fix the wires, then that's how you play. You're trying to stop everybody else from completing their tasks.
Well, because I think what Veggie is, the idea of poking is riding the coattails of a thing that I've seen over and over again, and I think most commander players have, which is the person who wins is typically not whoever pops off first. It is whoever pops off right after the table invests a lot of interaction. And so the poke is especially valid in a position where you are the problem. You do not have lethal. So the next turn will pass. You will not have won the game. And you are making the argument, I am the onboard problem. I believe there is a likelihood that the game will end on this person's turn. I think it is a very narrow argument you are making, but you better be making. But I do think there's a place to be like, I am the onboard threat. I cannot threaten to win the game. Here's my hand. I cannot threaten to win the game. I think Ricky can.
But in that situation, you're showing your hand because you think you're actively not the threat, right? That was an example Veggie gave when the threat was actively someone else.
Yeah.
But then the sneaky one of trying to redirect it when you are the threat, that's the imposter one.
Yeah. Now I wanna be clear. I am not saying I have win in hand. And I am trying to lie my way into being able to untap. But I am saying that oftentimes somebody will have something and they will have enough where you get yourself into a different position where you're able to reveal, this person, they have a crater hoof in their hand. So instead of all 3 players being like, well, for sure, 100%, we kill Veggie, then you've revealed this information.
Yeah.
And then you can go, all right, great. I still have a really good setup. I still have the best board, but I'm gonna do my good things at them now if you let me live.
But in this scenario, there's the one where you're talking about where you have lethal, right? Like effectively.
Yeah, and if that is the case, no. If I have lethal in my hand,
and you're still trying to redirect the threat to the crater hoof.
No. So if the situation is, I definitely win, and I know, and my politicking is only to get me to untap and win the game, that is not cool. But I'm saying if
so, then what happened in the Joe game?
That's a game for content.
I guess that's fair.
Get fucking razzmatazz. Get flabbergasted, by the way. What's up? This is TV. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
I want to pull out a gun and shoot Nerdgirl in the foot because it'll get views.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, there's a big difference there.
So here's the thing I think I'm learning is I just the way I think you play is not the way you actually play.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Because you're saying you're not okay with that, but you will do it for content.
Yes.
But that is the veggie I know. So that is interesting. I'm learning today.
Yeah, same for like, you know, playing on the show. My number one goal is do something big and memorable and interesting.
Yeah, which is what gets you killed a lot.
Yes. And then playing a game outside of that context, that is still a very high priority of mine. Honestly, still probably the number one, but winning the game rises a couple ranks in my priority. So like, I probably won't take as many deals, or I probably won't, like I won't lean into a bit as much that requires game actions to be taken. But yeah, and also if I think the biggest difference is if I'm playing on the show and I'm like, okay, I have not done the big, cool, interesting thing all game. I can do it right now. It guarantees me that I lose. I will take that thing. I will make that play. But out in the rest of the world, I'll be like, okay, this means that maybe I don't get to make this play at all, but I'm still going to try to stay in the game until I get to a position where this is a safer move to play. Also, by the way, you're such a bully. I can't believe that you kill me all the time.
I do. It's true.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I've seen it happen.
I like that you guys talk about Commander the way I used to talk about poker, like lying to people and genie wishing and doing those things like I do in poker, and reviewing your politics post game. That's not a thing I do for Commander, but it's certainly like I relive hands from 10 years ago. Like I can tell you how I won like the small jackpot, the winning hand jackpot or whatever the case may be, which is the small portion, by the way, and how I could have played it different on every street and so on and so forth. So it's a similar thing. Whereas like that is not how I view Commander. It's a board game. And after Settlers is done, I don't think of anything else. I just do my tasks, and sometimes I do them very good and I win.
Well, I think the only difference is that when I sit down to play Commander, my only task is make these people laugh, and the pieces in it all contribute to parts of that, or not even necessarily laugh, but like have a satisfactory time. And so reviewing if they contributed to that goal becomes necessary because none of them contribute directly to it. Like sometimes you create a satisfying game by you have a very good hand and you play to establish yourself, and then the table feels good because they throw dynamite at your face.
Yeah, see, I'm not funny and I don't care how other people feel. So I just do my tasks very fast and hope I win.
Fucked up.
We play Commander as the bard. We're here to inspire you in some way. Either you laughed or you're interested in the weird game, like the weird cards that we use or the strategy or something. And you play it as the
Helga the Barbarian from the last D&D movie. She was very she was not funny.
Let me okay,
during all of these like things at various points during the episode, I've come up with good politicking questions to bring up or examples, and then have immediately forgotten them while we were in the weeds of another one. So I don't know. That's
our brains all the time. I may yell that they should be at the beginning of the episode, but because I don't edit them, I have no power over that. Not politicking is politicking, by the way.
That's the big one.
We talk about politicking, and we always talk about like, we're using words as weapons. We're going to trick you into acting the way we want you to, and then we're going to do a big dramatic reveal about how we had the plan the whole time. The essence of politicking is just being able to predict how the people around you are going to act over the course of the game. If you come into a game and say, I don't politic, that is a way for people to predict how you're going to act over the course of the game. It is a form of politicking. You are the isolationist country in the middle of the ocean that is following their nuclear arms program and not responding to missives from the UN. That is still a political stance. Mm-hmm. Just as a PSA for anybody who's
no
like,
notes.
I'm not going to get involved in all that stupid yapping. I'm just going to kill the first person I see. That's a stance. That's a thing you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And so it's fine. Like it is totally valid to come into a game and say, I'm not going to take any deals because they stress me out and I don't want to use brain power trying to decipher what you mean because I think you're going to trick me. That is not a ridiculous political stance to take, but don't pretend it's not a political stance you're taking.
Mm-hmm. Also, your game actions are still political tools. Mm-hmm. Like if you attack a player, you are telling the rest of the table, I feel that this is the threat. If you, if you blow something up or don't, then you're saying, I think this is okay. Or, it just is a multiplayer game where you interact with other people's game pieces. Each action that you take is telling other people what you think.
I feel like people who act, I agree with you, but total side note, if you don't like doing politics that much, and I agree with you that that is a type of politics, right? Just play 1v1, go play 60 card. Like, what are we doing here? Well,
I feel like those people are, and this is we just got to snip. This is a whole different episode. I feel like that population is some of the people who are most negatively impacted by Universes Beyond and the shift towards Commander, because those are the people for whom Magic is dying.
Because airball.
Right, because the game is moving more and more away from, like, events aren't firing. You go to an LGS to play some casual 60 card. Nobody's there to play with you. Like, everybody's just there looking for a Commander game. And so to then sit down in a Commander game and be like, absolutely no politicking is happening. You're telling a fib, but I am sympathetic to the plight of, man, I don't like politicking. Man, I love the mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
Man, ain't fucking nobody I can play with now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And I found that the people that are genuinely saying that have like had a bad experience with it.
Veggie.
Where they politics, it went a way where they didn't have fun, or where there was it dominated the game, where players are talking and not taking game actions.
Oh yeah, I remembered one of my politics. Continue. I'm not gonna forget this time. Sorry.
And then the other one is, this is the only format where they can get the thing that they enjoy. Because a lot of people will make the argument, and I have made it myself, of, hey, you like Magic the Gathering, you don't want politics, just play 1v1. You can get competitive. There's lots of different formats. There's it eliminates that factor because you can't do it.
I've heard a lot of people say they really like Commander 1v1.
Yeah, there's that.
That's a cursed fucking format. Holy God. Never mind. Different episode, I'm sorry.
But I have to give some credit to those people that are still genuinely saying that, because there are things that happen in a 4-player Commander game that you cannot get in any other formats of Magic that are purely game related and not political. A lot of decks are designed in a way to use,
But that's political.
They're designed in a way to use a lot of different pieces in a deck that you could not have that many pieces in 60 card 1v1. they like a super complicated stack. You can't get that in 1v1 formats, even in 1v1 Commander. That the meta is just very different for that. It's a lot of players that like coming over from Yu-Gi-Oh! That are like, I'm used to games being like, I'm gonna place like 70 cards a turn, and watch the other person like also play like 60 cards to try and stop me, and then we'll pass to their turn. Like that feel you don't really get outside of 4-player Commander games. And so I have to point out that exists, and I think that's tough for those players if they really don't like the politics.
And they're not going to, it's going to be really hard to find a full pod of that as well. So I feel like they're unfortunately set up for a bad time more often than not.
Yeah.
Sounds like the only answer is to download hit game League of Legends.
I like League. You've never played it.
Veggie does not play it because they know they'll like it.
Yeah.
And they want to actually move forward in their career, and they know they'll instead quickly become a gold 2 player in League of Legends.
My gagging sound was not because the game is bad, it's because the game would be bad for me.
Yes.
They put WASD controls in. You don't even have to learn the mouse clicking now.
I'm so
I'm gonna get him.
Okay, my politicking question.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Whining. Everybody has experienced people who try to politic, and when things don't go their way, they go, but please, no, don't do that, and then they like continuously, if you say no to a deal, they continue to try to re-engage and pout along the way and try to guilt trip you. That should not be a thing.
You like using the politicking itself as a weapon. It's like I could engage with you, but I know I'm going to get this wall of words that I have to like wait for you to be done so I can continue playing Magic. Yeah.
And I'm going to make it socially uncomfortable for you to take the mechanically correct game actions.
It's like the partner that you're trying to like break up with that continues to try to convince you not to. Mm-hmm. Like you've already failed the initial relationship. Like.
Mm-hmm. I've talked about this once with 3-3 Elk, and I tend to agree with their stance of everybody gets one over-dramatic why me a game, but only when it is obvious that you should be shot. And like Z, because Z has done this where there was one time they have a Esper Enchantress deck. They played Rhystic Study for 1 blue mana. One of us shot it, and they were like, "What do you mean I haven't drawn any cards yet?" And all of us just sat there in silence, like, "Yeah." Yeah, is that the art? Like, I think I used Stroke of Midnight and paid for the Stroke of Midnight, and they were like, "You're not even gonna let me draw 1 card," and I was like, "Fuck no!" And so I think everybody gets one of those where you go like, I play a ridiculously good thing, and somebody shoots it, and you're like, "What are you talking about?"
There are players who are more prone to the why me, and they do it at every step, no matter the threat assessment.
Right.
And I feel like that is a little bit what you're talking about, and you're giving some leeway to you to do that once.
You get one, yeah. If you do it,
the thing I'm talking about is like, Mald, don't attack me. We're gonna gang up on Veggie, and you're like, nah. And I'm like, but wait. But no. And you're just like, no. And I'm like, but what if I do this? What if I do that? And usually they just keep going and drag out the game and my patience.
Yeah. Or like, I've definitely seen this for like first round of attack. It's like, this matters so little. I'm swinging for 3 damage, and that, the defending player's like, are you kidding me? Like, this person played 1 ramp spell. They are clearly significantly ahead. This is bad threat assessment. And I'm like, well,
you're more bald, as Mald would say.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like inwardly, I'm like, 1, I'm better than you, so the threat assessment is correct. And then 2, I'm like, this does not matter enough for you to be trying to make this a thing. Take your 3 damage, even if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I will say I don't enjoy playing with the people who are always why is me, regardless of whether or not it's incorporated into the politics. But I will tolerate it. The people who continuously politic aggressively and will not take no for an answer, I will not tolerate. I will not play with them again.
And I think this was a thing I was much worse at when I started playing Magic, and I hope that I'm better at it now. And I've tried to replace all the times I would go why me with that's fucked up.
That's you are not. We have to edit that out all the time.
That's fucked up. But I like because I have the urge to always get the last word and to always yap. And if it's coming out as why me, don't do that, I would highly recommend trying to replace it with your version of that's fucked up. Just some type of like quick phrase where you can express your distaste and try to make it clear that you have no basis. I think there's more and more mid-political deals where I'm like, or not even deals, but I've done politicking where I'm like, please don't do that. And they're like, why? And I just go, I don't want you to. And then they do it anyway. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Any other ones from the cast before we boy question?
I have one more.
Okay.
So a lot of cards encourage you to make deals, especially like ones that provide resources to another player. It's like Loren of the Third Path. Tap you and an opponent, draw a card. How do you feel about those cards and then using those to to make deals? Because it feels like that's what they're designed to do. Or do you just go like, hey, I think you're behind, draw a card, that's what I'm doing?
I think it's fine to use it. Like if you like Lauren is like, hey, don't hit me, I'll let you draw a card. I feel like that's fair game for politics.
I think it's fair game, but I think there's a limit that is stretched by how good the benefit is. I think the obvious limit is the trade routes or whatever, which was a card that if you don't trade secrets, which you don't even know the specifics. It was the Collusionator 9000.
Yeah.
And Lauren is not enough to be the Collusionator 9000. Yeah. It's a little bit. It's nice. I think
Also, I think you're not selling it enough. Trade secrets was so colludey, it is banned.
Yeah.
That is one of the few cards that has it functions totally fine in the game of Commander. It was just so prone to collusion that it is banned.
Yeah, and so I think like the next step above Lauren would be like Humble Defector. I play it immediately, and I point at someone. I was like, "What if you and me pass this to each other all game?" And then we're tripping over the thing earlier of like, don't make deals about it all game long. But I think the better the effect is, and I don't think this card even exists, but I think I would start to chafe at the point it was like, every turn, these two people are going to draw 3 extra cards because of a deal they made. Then it just feels like 2 people are playing an entirely different
Wedding ring.
Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all.
Veggie wouldn't marry me.
I think Wedding Ring also requires, like, you need Wedding Ring and then you need another thing on top of it. And I have more and more kind of accepted that, like, once you combine 3 or more Magic cards, like anything can happen, man.
That's true.
Stuff's it's getting nasty up in here. And so once it's a confluence of cards, I don't mind as much, but it's also kind of, if you build a deck that is meant to do this, like group hug decks, really, if you build a group hug deck, you better have a way out. I think the flavor of deck I dislike the most, in no small part because of how they politic, are decks that are group hug, but I won't win. Group hug decks designed to come in second typically infuriate me to no end because of how the pilots control them. I think your tempting worm deck is a little jewel in the rough amongst other people mismanaging. Like,
well, it just is different from what you're saying, right? Because that deck, while aggressively hugging everybody, has specific things that is trying to do that win the game.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the limit for me on cards that encourage you to make deals are like, at what point does the deal become, all right, you and I soft win this game. Let's forget about those losers and go make out on top of our pile of cards and mana.
Okay. Now, we don't have to delve into this, but the reason that I brought that up specifically is because over the course of playing with lots of people, I encountered a deck where that was the theme. Almost every card was that type of card, and they intended to make deals every time that they used them.
Yeah, man, you got to take an improv class.
So I've never played that, but I think that there is a deck type that sort of does it, like the Mr. House, where it's you force. Is it Mr. House, where you continuously make your opponents make decisions Is that
It's
the
not
same one?
Mr.
Or it's
House,
Toy
no.
Maker.
Yeah, Celestial Toymaker
That's
is
the one.
piles.
So, but anytime you have a different card that lets them make a decision, and then each of those cards are typically used in some sort of way where it's like, we both get bonuses if you do X, if you make a decision in a way that I appreciate. And so I feel like that is somewhat built into the game as an option. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think you can get too mad at it. Also, at a certain point, to talk about we're going to go kiss and kill these other two players, that kind of does happen usually. Like the first big threat that pops off, the other kind of players are like, hey, let's just kill this person and then we'll figure it out. That happens.
Well, I think I'm more thinking about the threat A and threat B do that. And it is more offensive really early on.
I love an underdog story. I always want like
That's why you keep those one-landers.
I never keep one-landers. I keep two-landers. Two. If it's a cheap deck. Am I reading this boy question?
Yes.
Yeah, what do we got?
All right. I tried to find ones that were on theme, but we haven't been getting very many boy questions. So hashtag boy question, guys, and you can get us to read one of your questions here on the show and discuss it for probably way too long. And that's what we're going to do for me and Monkey LP. Hashtag boy question. How do we feel about secret commander decks? Is there any secret commander decks you've played or want to play? Any suggestions for best practices? And then they have a note that they love the Formless Genesis as a secret commander that they've built because of the recursion.
Okay, well, I've played a number of secret commander decks.
One of your favorite is, does that count, right?
We just talked about Tempting Worm. That's secret commander Tempting Worm. I'm a big fan of this style of deck because there are so many interesting cards in the game, and for commander to only really let you build around legendary creatures and then some other stuff. Sometimes I just see a card, I'm like, oh, I really want to. This is what I want to do every game, and I can't unless I do something weird. Secret Commander is a great way to do it. It's really hard. It's really hard to do it, without having a way to consistently get that card, and depending on what the card is, you still then have to be able to use it. With Tempting Worm, that one's pretty easy. I got to put Rocco in the command zone, so it tutors it out, and it is just an ETB. That is the thing I want it for, so it's going to be hard for people to go, all right, you played your secret commander, now I kill it, and now it can't come back. You can't really do that with that one. I also really like this idea of Formless Genesis, since it has Retrace. That's going to be hard for players to say, you can't do the thing that you've built your deck around. You can just keep casting it from the graveyard. So I really love them. I play them. I support them. Just know that they're hard to pull off effectively.
I fucking hate them. I love Commander. I hate variants. I think there are individual ones I am sympathetic to. I think for the most part, I have disliked them because when I have seen them, the pilots have had to politic around them by going, please let me do this cool special thing with my special baby boy. Yeah. And their special baby boy wants to pick up a gun and shoot all of us. So I think it's very, very hard to make a good one. When you make a good one, yes.
Yeah. Because I think, NerdGirl, you ran into this problem on the show, right? Because we did a secret commander
Episode
game.
65.
Yeah.
So says my spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet time.
We did a secret commander game with Nitpicking Nerds, and we all picked a secret commander that was above board. We all told each other. And I'm guessing the problem you were going to say is that my secret commander got exiled.
Yep.
Well, yeah. That happens. I feel like if you have a secret commander deck, that's just what you have to do. And I think that was also fine because in that game, my secret commander was Colossus Hammer. And like, it's not like the rest of my deck was garbage. It was all really good equipments and things that equipped them. And, it didn't have it at the time, but like, okay, you killed my Colossus Hammer. You're saying I can't win with a Buster Sword? Like, it's fine. You should build your deck competently regardless.
But that's the real struggle is like Colossus Hammer is a cool card. And your deck was designed specifically to work with that equipment in particular. But because it is a very blow-upable thing, it's hard. It's hard to then. You either have to in deck building compensate for I'm probably going to have to protect this every turn of the game, or to find a way to enjoy playing the card that you want to play and you've built your deck around when it is super explodey.
And I think that's okay. I am fine with compensating within the deck to ensure that the deck can still function without it, even though it's the thing like Tempting Worm. It is the thing you tutor out for first. That is your rule. But ideally, the deck should also function outside of that. If Tempting Worm gets exiled or whatever the case may be. I think the same thing is true for the Colossus Hammer deck.
Do you all have any secret commanders that you would play right now?
No, I fucking hate secret
Yeah,
commanders.
no secret
never
commander.
do it.
I'm pro secret commander. I think it's very cool, but I can't think of anything that I want to build off the top of my head.
You wouldn't do like secret commander Sphinx Ambassador?
No, I shove it in every deck and I'm always happy to see her, but I would never like. I think to me, when people say secret commander, because I've seen so many bad decks, I think it's tainted with the implication that the deck struggles to function without that piece, which I don't think is necessarily true of secret commander. Like if we just define secret commander as this is my extra special little boy, it's my favorite card to pull out of my deck. Every one of my commander decks is secret commander Sphinx Ambassador.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't. Let's say they printed a card that was. Legendary Sphinx. When this enters the battlefield, search your deck for a Sphinx and put it onto the battlefield, and also take 5 cards from your collection and put them into your opponent's decks. That seems super built for. Look, just go with me here. If they made stuff, I'm going to talk to Mr. Wizards about this.
Okay, yeah.
That specifically supported Sphinx Ambassador as a game plan. Would you build that deck?
I think I would build that deck, yes, but I would not call it a secret commander Sphinx Ambassador deck because I just wouldn't. I just like cannot bring myself to rely on a piece outside of the command zone. I can barely bring myself to rely on a piece inside the command zone. Like the closest I have it to it is my Niv Mizzet guild pack, like 5 color clone Niv Mizzets, because that was like the first draft was very close to being secret commander Sakashima, because I was like, okay, well, I can't break legend rule, the deck sucks, and I got it to consistently find Sakashima, and I was like, this deck is ass. And I changed it to working much more around the face commander, and then this extra special thing could happen on the side, but like I built a version that could competently do the secret thing, and I was like, this is heinously awful. This is truly terrible. And so I think even if they gave it to me on a plate, I would be like, oh, sure. This is my deck where Sphinx Ambassador is up on a pedestal. And if the pedestal is shot from space, who cares?
2 yay secret commanders, 1 nay secret commanders. I just want to throw this out there. I think it's very akin to secret commander. I like secret theme. Because it's just super easy to be like, oh, you have, X commander, it does X, throw all of the X cards in it. I like it when the deck is like, oh, it's this, but built weird. And my best example is our Halloween episode, which you guys will see soon. I played Toxrill in the command zone, but it was all cats. Toxrill cats.
I can see how much that hurt you.
And I think that's so cute.
I like secret themes. I think it's very cute. I do think, and what's helped me learn a lot about my decks, I think if the theme is not evident, if the theme cannot be deduced from somebody random playing your deck, you don't have a theme. But if you have a secret theme in your deck, that is very fun.
I thought it was adorable. I was playing the
But what's the narrative motivation for the cats? That's what I want to know.
You can't say that, right?
Why not?
This definitely comes up before then, right?
Yeah, we can't give a little teaser. We
Go.
posted pictures of it.
Oh, what, the
okay,
20 people that got... If you got this late in the podcast, please comment, I hate that you spoiled the Halloween episode, so that we know from a data collection standpoint how tight-lipped we need to be, or if we can leak things to you people at the end of the podcast.
I was playing the SpongeBob Secret Lair version of Gary the Snail, who's the cat in SpongeBob.
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
And so it was all cats.
Yeah, that's comedy.
And I spent the whole episode just saying meow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think anytime you have a deck that it's like, I built this thing and everybody's like, oh, I know exactly what that is, but they don't. Those are my favorite decks.
She's admitted Subversion's funny. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, she just said she likes every deck that I've ever built.
That is not true. There is sometimes you take way too many actions and I get very bored.
My secret commander is game actions.
All right, Mald, send us off.
Man, I really thought I had something, but I didn't. Meow.
Said Mald every day of his life.